What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Let's waste no time. Let's get right into it. I love this movie. This is one of my all-time favorite comedies. I think Forgetting Sarah Marshall is the perfect romance movie. The perfect, and just in general, one of the a perfect comedy. To me, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a movie that still holds up about over a decade later. I love this movie. What makes this movie work is the simplicity of its story and the cast, because every single person in this movie brings their A game, and you can tell that they're having so much fun making this movie. So, first off, the overall story for Getting Sarah Marshall is this: Peter Bretter, played by Jason Segel, is a musician who goes through a really bad breakup with his girlfriend Sarah Marshall, played by Kristen Bell. In order to pretty much get away from it and try to reset his life, he takes a trip to Hawaii. However, unbeknownst to him, Sarah Marshall and her new boyfriend Aldous Snow, played by Russell Brand, are also vacationing in Hawaii, and that is where the fun really begins. Right off the bat, I'm going to say it. Jason Segel is awesome in this movie. I love him as the character of Peter Brother. He he comes across as a nice guy, but because of the breakup, he's very undecisive and he's just obsessed over Sarah Marshall, and he struggles to get her out of her head. And to further complicate things, he starts to he starts up a relationship with Rachel, played by Mia Kunis. And one of the biggest strengths of this movie is that Siegel has got really good chemistry with Mia Kunis, and he has really good chemistry with Christian Bell, with Kristen Bell. If he did not have the amount of chemistry he had with these two actresses, this movie would not work from a story standpoint at all. Because the two women that Peter Bretter is involved with, they have to gel off Jason Segel, and I think Kunis and Bell, they're great in this movie. I like the character of Rachel. She's more of a free. She's like a free spirit, but also she's like a concierge at the hotel that Bretter is staying in, and the scenes between them are just so well done, and you can tell that Peter and Rachel, they're a better fit for one another. Now, when you go to the scenes of Sarah and Peter, you can tell that Sarah, who is an actress, she's out of Peter's league. She's like the star, and Peter's a supporting player who's just there in the background. So I like the dynamic between the two different relationships, and it works really well. And Kunis and Bell do fantastic jobs. Also, the character of Aldous Snow, I think, is absolutely hilarious. Russell Brand gives this man a charismatic feel, and what makes the character of Aldous Snow works is that he does not come across as an evil person at all. He actually comes across as a genuine, cool, nice guy, and he actually tries to be friends with Peter. But Peter does not want anything to do with Aldous, since it was actually since Sarah left Peter for Aldous, and it's actually revealed by Aldous that they are having an affair while Sarah and Peter were still together. So it's a very awkward triangle between the three, but it's very funny. And what makes it unique is that the character of Aldous Snow doesn't come across as a dick at all. He comes across as someone that you genuinely want to hang out with and be friends with. I mean, he's kind of a dick to the Jonah Hill character, which leads to one of my favorite parts of the movie, where Jonah Hill goes on a rant, pretty much saying that he hates Aldous Snow because he's like a super fan, but he got blown off by him. Great scene, by the way. It's utterly hysterical. And that's another thing about this movie. Before I get into my favorite scenes, let me finish up with the casting, because you have the characters that are newlyweds who have their own little subplot of them trying to have sex but they can't. That stuff is pretty funny. You got Paul Rudd in this movie, who plays a guy called Kunu, also named Chuck, who is like this surfing guru burnout type guy, and he's utterly hysterical. Paul Rudd in this movie, I think, is funny as shit, and the scenes that he has with Jason Segel, hilarious. So much fun stuff between the two, and I just love Paul Rudd's performance as like this airheaded surfer type dude. You could tell Paul Rudd is just disappearing into the role and having a lot of fun. Is Paul Rudd playing pretty much playing Paul Rudd? Only, he's only a little bit more of an airhead. It's funny shit. I love it a lot. Now let's get on to the funny scenes. This movie is chock full of them. You know, you have the bar scene where Peter does his Dracula musical, which is hilarious. You have the stuff with Peter and Aldous Snow, and and Aldous Snow getting hit by the surfboard by accident. Hilarious stuff. And now this movie is chock full of just memorable, fun scenes. Some of the things I like involve Peter Fretter and his stepbrother, played by Bill Hader. Great chemistry, great stuff. Love it, love it, love it. The opening, the scene with them in a club, with uh, with Bill Hader's character trying to help Peter get some ass is hilarious. And the little argument they had when they compare their respective girlfriends is also a really funny scene. Great stuff. I mean, I don't have enough praise for Forgetting Sarah Marshall. This movie, to me, like I said, it's perfect. I love it. It's one of my all-time favorite comedies. I've seen this movie more times than I can count. I never get bored of it. It still holds up to me. And again, a lot of that has to do with the story itself. This movie is written by Jason Segel, and you can tell that he took the time to really craft a good story and a good comedic movie as well. And like I said, you have a very strong cast that brings all these characters to life, and what makes it work is that they all seem real. They don't seem over the top or goofy. They all seem real and relatable. And with all that being said, Forgetting Sarah Marshall to me is obviously a perfect 10. I find no flaws within this film. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like this video and subscribe, and I will check you back next time for more.